Yeah, yeah. Can you identify with faces of the homeless? Have you ever felt like you ain't know where home is? All alone, worst victim of society. Services provided or not provided properly. They label you a refugee and you a born citizen. No one seems to care about conditions you are living in. You never know when you gon' have your next meal. Temptation have you and Satan making deals. I see faces of the homeless every day, doing bad and they hurting in a major way. Hoping that the raw take the Lord pain away. Scarred for life, cold winter nights. Laying on the pavement, under the street lights. Welcome to Baltimore, the city that bleeds, where they ain't got love for their people in need. I said, welcome to Baltimore, the city that bleeds, where they ain't got love for their people in need. Langston King, Monumental Affiliates, is FYD. Follow your dreams, that be the label. Baltimore, stand up. Yeah, and now it is a great honor for me to present to you faces of the homeless, the homeless. Faces of the homeless, the homeless. Faces of the homeless, the homeless. Faces of the homeless, the homeless.
Okay, I'll be serious.
Okay, how are you, Vivian?
I'm fine today.
So, tell the camera who you are and talk to us today.
I'm Miss Vivian Caritas. I came to Baltimore City in 1998 as a Baltimore City school teacher. In 2000 of June, I was let go and I didn't know why, and I found myself homeless and penniless, jobless, and I was really lost and confused in Baltimore City, which is known as Charm City. Miss Vivian Caritas did the unthinkable. In August of 2000, she picked up a stimulant, a narcotic, crack cocaine, and the illustrious crack pipe. And from then on, folks, I was homeless, penniless, jobless, and Miss Caritas went down a downward spiral.
And what did that downward spiral consist of, Vivian?
It consisted of me living in shelters, Code Blue, and Miss Caritas found out that she also had a mental disorder. My mental disorder is bipolar, primarily mania, because my symptoms as a classroom teacher were all bipolar mania symptoms. Every last one of them. I do recall them and I can reflect on them.
So, wow, Vivian, living as a homeless woman, you also had the challenges of dealing with mental illness.
Yes.
What were some of the experiences that were involved? Like, you know, how did your illness play itself out while you were homeless?
While I was homeless, I sought professional help through the mental health professionals. The first mental health professionals that I was introduced to was Bon Secours Hospital, Behavioral Health. And I had a case manager, a therapist, and a psychiatrist. I was in shelters at the time, and then I was in recovery too, folks. I was in Recovery Network. Recovery Network is still in existence in 2011. And I stayed in a recovery house for 11 months. And the name of my first case manager was Miss Rakai Spears. After 11 months and having almost a year clean of crack cocaine, which was my primary substance abuse problem, I moved to my first funded apartment in North Baltimore, in Hamden. But needless to say, I was homeless 2 times in Charm City. I'm going to wrap this up. After I fell from North Hamden apartment, I moved to South Baltimore in Federal Hill in another federally funded apartment, courtesy of Shelter Plus Care. Miss Caritas' drug problem followed her again. Miss Caritas lost everything out of that apartment. I was evicted, and Miss Caritas found herself homeless again.
Once again.
For 2 years. Now, after those 2 years, the next case manager, Mr. Dorian Scott, through Health Care for the Homeless, at Housing First, he was on an MTA bus, and I had the leftover of my belongings on the bus with me. He looked at me and said, Miss Caritas, are you still homeless? I said, I am. He said, I want to help you. And so Housing First became my second housing program in Charm City. But Miss Caritas kept denying about her mental illness. She didn't want to believe she had a brain disorder. No, she was stubborn and set in her ways still. Housing First picked her up as a housing resident. I lived independently in East Baltimore, 24th and Greenmount to be exact. Then when that fell apart due to my substance abuse use, again, I went to treatment again. And when I got out of treatment, Housing First placed me in another apartment.
Wow.
My final apartment was at 910 St. Paul Street, which is in Mount Vernon, folks, a very upscale neighborhood. Yet, folks, drugs followed her there too, because a drug dealer came through the neighborhood.
Wow.
I didn't know he was a drug dealer, and he didn't know that I was a crack cocaine user. I availed myself to him, and he said, I sell it. You do? Give me some. I have some money. And from then on, it was homeless people in my apartment again. And it was the big one, because I could have gotten arrested. Folks, you're looking at a woman that has 2 misdemeanors. Not felonies, misdemeanors.
But you were an educator, you were a teacher, and you're still struggling and working to move back towards your profession and help others. Isn't that right, Vivian?
This is correct. I am going on the verge. Right now, I'm not homeless, currently in 2011. I'm living in an independent living house, which is categorized, with 4 other women that have mental illnesses, such as myself, and I am on the verge of going to graduate school at Johns Hopkins University to raise more awareness about mental illness, and I want to utilize my bachelor's degree from 13 years ago and obtain a master's degree in counseling with a concentration in mental health.
Wow, Vivian. So proud of you. Thank you for that interview. You have a candid memory like a recorder. I am a teacher, and I cannot remember what I did last week